We're in the kitchen doing something a little different here. Making some jam with Vidalia onions,
with
bacon.
And bacon. Okay, so I bought bacon onion jam before, and I got to thinking, well, how do I make it? So I researched it, I figured it out, I've kind of played with the recipe a little bit. It does take a little bit of work, but I promise you, this will make one of the most wonderful gifts you can give somebody. It tastes freaking amazing, is all I can say.
It's crack rock.
It's crack rock.
It's just sampled.
So what I did is your first thing you're gonna do is you're gonna take a pound of bacon and you're gonna cut it into 1-inch cubes. And I've gone ahead and pre-cooked that. Then I'm gonna take 1 onion and I've sliced it really thin and it filled halfway. And then what I've done is it takes about 20 to 25 minutes to caramelize onions. To caramelize onions, all I did was I put 3 tablespoons of the bacon fat in there.
Right.
To give it the flavors.
Like that.
Yeah, I mean, hello.
Yeah.
And then what you do is you cook it on a lower heat because you don't want to burn these onions. Okay. Because onions are naturally sweet, so the sugars will come out as they sweat.
You don't have to add any sugar to them.
No, and they will brown. So they will turn this...
Sweating onions, now we're
Sweating
talking.
onions. But look at this browny color. They're not burnt. This is caramelized, and this is perfect. This is how you make French onion soup. It's a slow process, but it is well worth it. So my thing is, if you're gonna do some, do a bunch, and then just put them in the freezer, and then you have caramelized onions in the freezer you could use for other things. Burgers, whatnot.
Gifts.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the jam part. This is when it comes together really quickly. I'm gonna add back in my bacon that I drained the excess fat, and so now we're gonna do the jam part or the syrupy part. So I've got 1 tablespoon.
I thought you had 3 earlier. What happened to the other 2? Bobby?
David, we left the room and we didn't know what to expect when
Bobby's
you
doing
were
shots.
alone.
Bobby's
Nope.
doing shots.
What did you add in there? I'm sorry.
I put the balsamic vinegar in there, so we're gonna add a
Okay.
little acid for the taste. So in here, I've got a 1/4 cup of Jack Daniel's bourbon
Whatever
of your
gets you through
choice.
the day, David.
The bourbon really does give it a wonderful taste, and maple syrup. Use
Let's clear the runway for
Is that real
David's
maple
jokes
syrup?
about Bobby's
and use
drinking.
real maple syrup.
Okay.
And you don't want to buy the other stuff.
I'm good.
Here,
Thank you.
get more maple syrup.
I was gonna ask Bobby.
You're gonna ask Bobby just.
Oh, hang on. Was there bourbon in there?
Clear
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
runway.
Oh, okay. With the maple syrup?
Clear the
Yeah.
runway. Clear the runway.
So what you're gonna do is you're gonna stir this together. You're gonna let it caramelize. It's gonna start to bubble a little bit. Then we're gonna add some fresh cracked pepper.
Did you put the maple?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was in there with
So
the Jack
we are
Daniels.
adding some sugar.
And
Quite a
for
bit.
people,
Okay.
the alcohol does burn off. If you're
Absolutely.
Worried, if you're worried about that, you don't have to.
No, and I don't drink. I've been sober for 17 years, and so I don't
As far as we
drink
know.
anymore. Pretty good.
Well, you can smell that
You can
alcohol
smell it.
burning off for sure. Yeah.
But
Oh, yeah.
it'll burn off. But then what you're gonna do, you're gonna let this cook 3 to 5 minutes. You're gonna stick it in your food processor. If you have a really strong blender, pulse it 2 or 3 times just to kind of break down the onions and you kind of make it all fall in love.
Could you just go with this though? Do you have to break it
I
down
know.
that much
I
more?
would. This
Well,
is so good.
You know what? Yeah, you probably
some
do.
bread?
You don't have to. I do, and then I put it in mason jars, and then you can store it in the freezer, or it stores in the fridge for up to a month.
We've been
so
eating
good.
it on bread,
Yeah.
and it's fantastic.
We didn't even really need the bread. I just need something to hold it.
I know.
Yeah, if you could have put it on your finger and licked it, that would have been good. But we're gonna do next is we're gonna do BLTs.
Ooh.
So for
all
our
right.
last day of summer, BLTs, bacon
Love that.
jam.
Okay.
Cheers.
We're back after the break.
Right.